Yeah. So, episode 32, Real Talk with Adam and Koko.
Oh, we didn't play the noise.
Is brought to you after this part.
Oh, okay. I was paying attention.
Brought to you by Not Just Knitting for all your knitted wear, gloves, what else? Slippers, blankets, sweaters, anything you can think of, any color, design you want.
Knitted underwear?
Not Just Knitting. Yeah, of course.
Really?
I guarantee she could do that.
Do you have a pair?
I'll take a pair.
I don't. Just visit Not Just Knitting on Facebook and you'll see the amazing things that my mom can do with...
If she's going to sponsor this, we need some Real Talk with Adam and Koko knitted underwear giveaway to our guests.
I like it.
You need something to
I like
show.
it.
Or
You need some knitted pieces
next
here.
to the tiger.
Yeah.
Swag, I think they call it.
Swag, yeah, knitted swag.
Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around.
Noise was better, I must admit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That one was too quiet anyway. Panther's got a real good scream,
Something's not right here.
as per usual.
Whatever. I'll check the recording. Anyway, so we got a special episode tonight. We have two guests for the first time. I think this is the first time we've had two guests.
Yep. Mostly it's just other people talking in the background.
I did two guests with Real Talk, but I mean...
But that's still just
only
three people. Yeah. You're not going to introduce them?
We have two Claytons. The two Claytons, as we've referred to them since they got here tonight. Clayton Shannon, good friend of mine that I've worked with. We worked with for, what, 2 years or something like that? At Chevron Refinery, and that's the only place we worked, actually, I think, together.
I've got some questions for you about Coco's craftsmanship.
I'm here to field those questions.
And then we have Clayton Klein joining us this evening. Say hi to everyone, fellas.
How you doing?
Yeah. So, would you, if you were in management over at Chevron, would you rehire Koko?
Honestly, yes, I would.
Yes.
In there with the C+. C+?
No, I was a B. I got foreman. I got B foreman.
minus.
So
Oh, yeah?
I had to have known what I was doing.
Maybe
at least
that's
a little
just from
bit.
your slick talking capabilities.
Hey, you know what? You use what you got.
Yeah.
That's,
He likes to expose his bare feet in the lunchroom, which always bothers me.
Coco does? Yeah, I wouldn't rehire him just for
There's
that.
something about that.
Making everybody suffer
You've
through
never
that
said
while they're
anything to
eating
me.
their lunch? Well, you
Well-
couldn't tell that your boots weren't on?
I took them off on purpose, man. It gets hot. Wearing coveralls and shit all day.
But then you're like reeking out the lunchroom for everyone while they're eating their salad.
I think they're overreacting.
Gotta
a
wear
little
wool
bit.
socks. Your feet won't sweat.
See, I hate wool socks.
I know.
I hate the feeling of wool socks.
They go all crunchy.
They're itchy to me. I don't know. You don't think
You're
they're?
supposed
They're
to
not-
breathe better.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're not itchy, but they fall down. They will not stay up.
Just electrician tape right around the ankle.
See, I don't want to
A
do
little
that with
wrap
my
in the
socks.
morning?
I don't like to tape my socks
Not
on.
too tight. You
I
cut
like
off the
socks that
circulation.
just stay up by themselves with their own elastic. As soon as I gotta start taping up clothes, it's time for new ones.
What fuck? I was listening. Wasn't that on the Joe Rogan podcast? The guy was talking about in one of his ads how they did a poll of how long guys keep their underwear for, and it was something like on average guys will have underwear for 7 years.
Yeah.
A pair of underwear
long as
will
it
last
lasts.
7
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't. I mean, you can have your like work underwear. They're getting a little bit older. They're in the final stages of their life. They don't gotta look good. They can have holes in them.
That was just good
You
underwear.
two tiers
that
of
went to the
underwear.
next
Yeah.
stage.
I think we all.
I've got going out underwear.
Yeah, I definitely
two
have
tiers,
2
yeah.
tiers. But what makes them? What is the point where they now become? Why do we wear boxers in the first place? Like, what is the?
To keep your dick in place.
They don't keep your dick in place.
That's
at
what
all.
the intent is.
I don't know.
That's
Is
why
that
you
the
get
intent?
Yeah, is it more uncomfortable to wear underwear or not?
Have you ever worn
Yeah,
socks?
it's definitely uncomfortable.
You think it's uncomfortable? You
Yes.
don't have good underwear then.
No,
You've got a problem.
compared to
with
not
Yeah.
wearing underwear, it's
yeah, what if
there's
it's
no
hot
comparison.
out? You got nuts sticking to your thighs.
They're still gonna stick to your thighs with underwear on. You just
You get them packed
I don't
in
know,
in
you're
the, in
always
the,
just
in the
fucking
flap, up at the front.
readjusting.
In Commando, you breathe better,
Yes,
but
You're
one of the
free.
Reasons, one of the
You feel
reasons why
free.
we wear underwear is in case you forget and you don't zip up your fly. I think it's a safety barricade.
That's a good one.
It is.
Yeah.
There has been a couple times where I haven't
Many
been wearing
times.
underwear, and I'm really careful at the urinal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta think about it.
How about
Yeah.
The zipping up.
That's a
process.
horrible mistake. If you ever hear
Yeah.
somebody scream in the bathroom and stand at the urinal, that's probably what happened.
I don't think I've
Either
ever-
that or
I've
they've
done it
got
to myself.
kidney
There's
stones.
something about Mary.
But never that.
Famous
Never
scene.
that.
Yeah.
bad.
Remember that one?
That movie was hilarious.
It was really.
When
funny
it came out,
first came
I
out.
haven't watched it in years, but that fucking movie.
I remember the
when
last
was,
time I
like,
watched it.
13 or whenever it was.
All that funny.
It wasn't that
There's
funny.
not many. There's not that many like great comedies that really last. Like there's a lot of stuff you see when it first comes out or within the first couple of years and find it really funny, and then the next time you watch it, it's
Comedies
just
are
dog
definitely
crap.
one thing. It's hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to make a trilogy. Though I thought
Dumb and Dumber.
Still fun.
You can watch
Still,
that.
it's
You
still
watch
fun.
that
That's the first
100
one.
times.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rehearsed.
Austin Powers kind of got funnier
Yeah.
as it went
You
on.
think it got funnier?
Yeah, Gold
Well,
Member.
Austin Powers, just like even like Dumb and Dumber, it's one of those movies where you're laughing so hard at parts that you miss parts. So it takes you years before you
That's what's
actually
good
have
about it.
caught all the jokes.
In Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah,
It wasn't
Like,
that
movies
clever
like
of a
that.
movie.
No, but
It took you years to get that?
No, not to
Years and years?
Not to get the movie,
Oh,
but
okay.
to actually get to have heard all of the jokes, to actually experience the whole thing. Because you miss stuff. You're sitting there laughing your ass off, keeled over, and you miss the next line.
Mind if I tell a funny Koko story relating to this movie?
Go for it.
Oh yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
only one pertaining to that movie. When we came back from, I think it was the Cloverdale Rodeo. Anyway, I wasn't even there, actually. It was Miller and Koko.
I think he might have told that story on the
Did he?
show already. Yeah.
Well, these guys haven't heard it. Anyway, they're both sitting on the couch at Coco's house, and there's like a couple girls they just met that are over, and they're all, trying to get all romantic and shit, and they're watching Dumb and Dumber, and all of a sudden a funny part comes on, and Koko goes to laugh and just rips the biggest fart. And he's got his arm around the girl, and the girl's like,
Really?
That's pretty much exactly how it went. Seriously.
The cooler.
Yeah.
yeah. A very classic
Yeah,
maneuver.
not my finest.
I wasn't
moment.
even there. That's where it makes me laugh every time
It's
I hear
still-
it. I could so see that happening.
It's still one of those things that you just.
Fart
everybody has
humor is
those.
hilarious.
Everyone has
The
those
only-
things that you just shake your head at.
There's not very many
It's like-
things worse than ripping a loud fart on a first date.
There's lots of things.
Could be at a massage. I'm talking.
What if
in
she's
term-
the one ripping the loud fart? That's
That would be a
worse.
funny story
That's
to tell
worse,
your friends.
I think.
And then it's open season, right?
It's open
That's
season.
true.
As soon as
Then
she
it doesn't
farts
matter.
first.
Wow.
You can't be
It's
around
gonna be a nasty
chick
night.
that farts. You can't.
Yeah.
Marriage is gonna be hard for
But
you.
this is on a first date we're talking.
Oh yeah. The first
Just get it over with, though. Really.
Get the fart
That's
over
right.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
You're
it
gonna
over
hold
with.
it in. And
First thing you
gut
do when you
rot.
open the door
As
is,
fart.
how are you? And fart as you hug.
Now you're
Right?
just-
Because that's the.
Why don't you
always-
just fart before she gets there
No.
then?
Because
You're waiting until she gets there? You're bombing her every time?
You're doing it right. That's
Just
the
the
whole
first
point
time.
of what I'm saying is get it over with. Get the
Oh.
first fart out right when you open
Oh, I
the
thought
door.
this was your tactic.
You give her a hug, right? And then, because that moment's always the most awkward.
I don't
when
like
you
that strategy.
First pick them up. So just right there.
That's going to make it more awkward, not less.
No, you can
Yeah.
work through it.
Yeah, you can work through it, but why? You're creating extra work for yourself for certain. You're gonna have to do. You definitely do not have upper hand after you pull that maneuver. Now you're working from the bottom up.
But if you can save yourself from that moment, then you really have the upper hand. Like if you
All right.
can get out of it and still within the next hour get her laughing and get the
All
conversation
right,
going,
walk us through
you've
this.
got a huge.
What's
Time.
what's the first thing you say after? She opens the door. You're standing there.
Just start laughing.
That's it.
Sorry, I was
That's not
holding
gonna
it in.
work. She's
I
gonna
know
slam
it's
the door
first
and go
date,
inside.
I didn't want to do it in front of you.
Go back to Plenty
and
of Fish.
then from that point, you just be honest. Just right up, just honest.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not farting isn't being dishonest.
No, what I'm saying is if you're going to
You
do
could
that...
just, like, not
I
do
have to
it.
fart, but I'm gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is...
If I were you, I would definitely... If you knew, I would fart before you got to the door, guy.
Yeah,
Then you don't even have a
obviously
problem. You're gonna be good for a while.
Obviously,
at
that's
least.
what you do. I'm just saying, in this case, that for some reason the door opens and you fart, that's how you get out of it.
But you
That's
gotta
the only
know,
thing
like,
you can do.
how are these farts are really sneaking up on you, eh?
That happens, man. I drink a lot of kale shakes.
Drink a
Okay,
lot of
that
kale.
shit goes right through you.
Okay.
Now we're talking just noise or smell or combination
Yeah.
of both.
How about that?
If it really smells, you're kind of fucked. There's nothing you can do.
So why are you doing this maneuver? You're putting a lot of risk.
No, it's not a maneuver. You're looking at it the wrong way. I'm just saying that if you can work your way out of that situation,
That's gotta be
props
that's
to
gotta be
you for getting the job done still after that.
That's up there for worst things about first dates.
Yes.
is not being able to fart.
Yeah. What
First,
time
not even just first dates though. I mean, really, how many dates do you? At least 3.
before
you
what?
fart in front of them. That's that's bare minimum.
Yeah, I would say more than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been with
Yeah.
it.
On the third date, you're hoping to get laid. A fart can fuck it up.
Yeah, once you get laid, it's fair game.
Then, yeah, that depends. That's right. Yeah. Who knows? Probably half the time
It's
you
not
pass
something-
out and both go to sleep. After, on the bed, you're probably both farting and everybody's asleep. Nobody knows.
Don't get me wrong. It's not something I'm gonna go start trying out.
Is Ashley coming over later?
I think she'll be here.
Oh.
Fart on her leg tonight.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. I was reading, because I always go through like weird news and shit that before we do the podcast, and there was this chick on there today. I didn't write it down because I'm like, that story's kind of stupid. I'm not going to talk about that. But then we got into a long fart conversation, and now it kind of makes sense. Apparently, this like 63-year-old dude like came home like drunk at the end of a night, and his wife was sleeping on the couch, so he farted on her face, and the chick went berserk and beat the shit out of him, and he had to phone the cops, and she got arrested. I wasn't gonna tell that story, but we got like right into the fart stories.
Might as well.
Yeah.
There.
Sounds like a violent woman.
Here, I got that.
She just woke up really cranky.
So, how are we gonna do this? Clayton 1,
What is
Clayton
that?
2, Klein. How about we just go with like Klein and Shannon?
That's
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
get confusing
I don't
for
wanna
me.
call you Shannon. You don't look impressed right now.
I've been called worse.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna show Clayton the Sasquatch video that.
And the reason we're showing
Got
it to him
famous.
is because he's an avid hunter.
Yeah.
How many times
So-
you go hunting every year?
Yeah.
A few times a year?
Yeah.
And you're going for grizzly.
Caribou, sheep, goats.
Have you shot a caribou?
Moose. We're gonna load up on a couple moose.
Have you shot a caribou?
No.
They're elusive, eh?
Yeah. Till October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you watching that video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what is that like 1.2 million views?
Right now,
All
it's
our
just
listeners
about
already
1.2.
know this video anyway.
Is it going?
It's the
Oh, you
Sasquatch
just gotta
video.
push play, and then make sure
I
the
was looking
volume's up.
for it.
We just want to get some fresh eyes on this one. Because to tell you the truth, that video still confuses me. I'm definitely not sure what that is.
And this is taken in Garibaldi area?
This is no, what the hell? Tantalus Range, which is out above. It's to like the east of Squamish.
I wish you could see a bit.
Yeah.
How come they didn't zoom into it? Does it
Apparently,
go that
yeah,
close?
they're all the way zoomed in. So they're at the top of the mountain, and they see this thing walking down there, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" So they pull out their camera and they zoomed in as close as they could. He said he could actually see it better with his own eyes, but obviously he had a crappy
He
camera.
said the camera. This is from 2010.
Whoa.
Middle.
See,
and
it's a
it's
strange
like-
video.
That's a long ways away.
Yeah.
It's moving.
Well, they're at the top of that mountain, and that thing is all the way down. I don't know. It's probably down like 1,200 feet,
Yeah.
1,500 feet.
That way.
All right, gut instinct.
He's just getting to the where he kind of zooms in now.
If that was a human, why would you walk up that bridge? Or that's
The guy that shot the video too, he was a Animal biologist? Conservationist?
Yeah, conservationist.
and
Yeah,
he
I-
leans
I-
more towards Sasquatch, which blows my mind.
I don't think he leaned either.
He
way.
does.
Well, he just doesn't believe it's a bear like most people do, and he doesn't believe.
It's not close enough to
No,
tell.
that's
no.
the thing. You definitely can't tell for certain. But
No.
okay, so you're a betting guy,
I've spotted caribou like miles away.
and what do they look
And that's
like?
all it looks like, just like that.
Yeah,
It's just a black
Black
speck
blur.
walking around, and you can't
Yeah.
see the legs because
No.
the body's so big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Just-
legs on a caribou are tiny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So would you
I
would
would
put money on
say-
bear?
Uh,
I don't know how high we are, but
It's in Squamish area. So it's not a caribou.
yeah,
It's not an elk.
yeah, just stand for
What time of year
I
is
would
that?
say bear.
Summertime. I
Yeah.
think it was like July or August. So bears are definitely out.
Yeah,
I don't,
You go with bear.
yeah.
I go with bear too.
You think it's a bear? That's the one thing he says is not a bear because with his eyes, he said it was bipedal.
there's valley down here.
He says he's 100% sure that thing had
Yeah,
only
but
was
it's
walking
so
on
far-
2 legs.
It's so far away, man, that you can't tell.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure. I'm
couldn't-
sure he
when
was
he
certain.
zoomed out,
Yeah.
that's closer to your eyes. Not like this. When you look at something that far away,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like this.
No.
This, when it zooms out, that's what it looks like your eyes. You can't see that.
No.
I've seen.
But you got to realize this camera was from like 2005. He says with his eyes he could see that way better than what this camera shows.
It's walking quite slowly.
Slowly?
Too slow
Slow.
for a bear.
I thought it was
No.
moving
Bears
like
can run
crazy
as fast
up
as a
that
horse.
mountain.
Yeah.
Huh.
But what would a bear be doing up that high? He's out of his element there.
Just walking around.
Wouldn't he be hungry? Why didn't he
Trees
be
up there.
down by like a berry tree or something?
No.
He just
They'll
went for
get
a
up
stroll
there to cool down.
to cool down.
To get out of the flies in the bush is just filled with flies in their eyes. That's why all the animals will be up in the alpine above the trees
Mm-hmm.
because it's cool up there.
Yeah.
That's the middle of summer. That's
Yeah.
a hot day. That might be 40 degrees up there.
Yeah.
You get up in the snowpack. Oh, now the bear can lay down, right?
That kind of makes
Huh.
sense. He's chilling out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm inclined to believe with
It's a bear.
the expert over here.
Yeah. So
I'm a
you're
city boy. What do I know?
Yeah.
Good point. Oh, you're from Burnaby. Yeah, definitely no bears there. If you were in North Van,
No, there's
maybe.
definitely bears there.
Is there?
Grub and Coquitlam, there's bears all the time.
In Coquitlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're kind of on like the back of a mountain there.
Yep.
Not in Burnaby though.
Yeah, they have bear scares in Chevron.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, right down by the inlet.
Deer, bear.
Yeah. Where the Chevron
Cougars?
refinery
Those
is.
poor-
Yeah.
There's a
polluted
reported
bear.
cougar.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they come through all the green belts, right? They travel along transmission lines.
I guess if they stay like close to the water there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a 75-year-old man on Vancouver Island hiking up in the bush,
Yeah.
and a big Tom came down, a big male cougar came down, jumped on his back,
Yeah.
and was attacking him. And he was able to get out a pocket knife and stab this cougar to death
Really?
and
Wow.
save his own life. He said he walked out, he was stark naked because the cougar, like, it's when you hold up a cat, it's just all claws, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a giant cat on your back, biting on your head,
Yeah.
ripping your clothes
That's
right
not good.
off.
Where was he?
On Vancouver Island,
On Vancouver Island.
yeah.
Hmm.
This was years back. But,
What's it? It's probably like in BC. Worst thing you could get attacked by is probably a bear, grizzly bear.
yeah.
Cougar.
You think
or
the
grizzly
cougar?
bear?
Grizzly bear.
I think if I had to
Well,
pick one,
you know
I would
what?
take the cougar.
Grizzly bears don't climb trees, right? It's
Yeah.
only black bears.
So you're gonna meet
so
them
at
on the
least
ground.
you can get away. Cougars can climb trees.
Yeah, but the grizzly can also knock over a tree, depending on how big it is.
A cougar's gonna kill you really quickly, and it's just gonna bite your neck, and you're just gone.
Yeah, I'd take
A
cougar for sure.
grizzly bear is gonna grab you, and it's just gonna like
Shake you.
rip you apart,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be
Yeah.
shitty.
That's like my dogs.
It's gonna be shitty.
I had
Yeah.
these Great Pyrenees mountain dogs. They're like, their backs are probably like the height of this table, probably pretty close anyway. But yeah, if they get a squirrel, ooh, it's a bad day for the squirrel. They will just torture the thing for like hour and a half. This thing has been pretty much removed of like all its hair. The squirrel's like moving around like combat style at this
Really?
point. Yeah, and they're still
Wow.
just grabbing it, whipping it in the air. The squirrels are bastards though. They throw walnuts at the dogs all day long. Dead serious.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've actually been struck
I
by a
remember
couple
you talking
walnuts,
about that.
and they piss me off. So I don't even really feel that bad for the squirrels. Otherwise, I would probably just shoot them, put them out of their misery. But I'm like, hit me in the head with a walnut. Now it's your turn to suffer. Walnut can hurt from a height.
I don't know. How hard can a squirrel really throw a walnut?
Man, they're vicious.
Is it acorns that they gather, or they gather
they
anything?
they gather nuts and put them away for
Do
the
we
winter.
have acorns around here?
I don't know. What do you ask me all these weird acorn questions?
I'm just curious. It just came. I was just
Ask the
wondering.
guy who bought like 25 trees a week ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got acorns here.
Do we? Okay. I just looking. I don't remember the last time I seen an acorn tree. So, I heard a story, or
Okay.
word of a story, of you wrestled with an octopus.
Yes. Yeah.
Octopi.
When did this happen?
About 4 years ago now. I'm a ticketed commercial diver.
Yeah.
As well as what I do is now.
How'd you get into that?
I got into it right out of. Well, I was still in high school when I got my open water ticket for scuba diving.
So you used to do it as a hobby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they told me that I could get paid to be an instructor, and I was like, oh, sure,
Really?
I'll get paid to dive with
Yeah.
people and teach them how to dive. So then I became an instructor, and then did some traveling, and I came back and I got a job tending on a dive boat, fishing for red and green urchins, sea cucumbers, and octopus.
What do you mean tending for?
Well, you'd have your divers down in the water, and
Yeah.
you'd be running the compressor and dealing with all the product that comes up, all the red urchins.
Oh, so you're like the helper up on deck.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
organizing everything and driving the boat around and picking up the divers and
Okay.
dropping them off in other places. And,
Yeah.
That's
And-
locally?
Vancouver Island in Port Hardy and Port McNeil area.
So they're going down to get sea urchins?
Yeah, red and green sea urchins.
What for?
To export to Japan,
Japan?
and China. Yeah.
Do we have lots of those?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
You can just pick them all day long?
yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
But the best
Those
part
are,
of...
they're the spiky ones that you
That's
see
right.
on shore sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Can they sting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you been
I
stung
had-
by one?
I jumped off the engine hatch down in between these 500-pound bags of urchins inside fish net.
You did
right?
that on purpose?
No, there was a little path to get to the door, right? And I
Right.
jumped down and I drove an urchin spine up underneath my fingernail, right to the back.
Oh.
And
Dead ringer.
Yeah.
and they're made out of calcium, so every time you try and grab it, it just breaks off. So I cut my fingernail off with my skinning knife, and then
Buddy!
flicked out the urchin spine. And the next day, we were on another dive boat, and I found out that all you had to do is put pineapple juice on it,
Yeah.
and it would just fall apart because just the calcium.
Yeah.
I didn't have to cut my
That's not the
fingernail
only
off.
time you've cut yourself with a knife to try and to fix something. From what I heard, there's something about a splinter that you had in your leg, and you used a very unsanitized knife and got extremely infected.
Oh. No, I don't remember that.
Okay.
What, did you get blood poisoning?
Yeah, I've had blood poisoning. I had a staph infection in my knees. That was a real bad
How did that
infection.
happen?
Both knees.
Staff's nasty shit.
It
Like,
is.
that can kill you.
Yeah, it was
I don't
brutal.
know
They were
anything.
at the point where they were the next step, if the next antibiotics weren't gonna work, they were just gonna amputate the legs. And I'm like,
That was freaky.
yeah, shit, come on, you guys, like,
Give me the
you gotta
shit.
figure something
There's
out
gotta be
there.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Holy
take it to the
fuck.
max. I'd just be
Don't
like,
be
take
down
more,
to
give
the
me
last
more, give me more,
strike
give me
here.
more.
Yeah.
Put me to the point
Well,
where
you
I'm
only get 3
almost
strikes.
overdosing.
Yeah.
I want that many antibiotics. I'm not losing
Yeah.
one leg.
But it worked, and
I'm going home in one piece.
It went back.
Wow.
Really?
How long were you
How'd
in
you get the
hospital?
infection in the first
Unbelievable.
place?
Just working and just working a lot and partying a lot and like a low immune
I've done
system.
both of those. I never got staph infection.
Yeah.
My cousin got one. Same type of thing. Like working in town, I think not sleeping enough, like partying. stuff.
That's when you're susceptible to staph infections?
Because
When you get, like, tired
there's
and weak?
staph on everything, right?
Yeah.
There's staph infection on everything. It's
Right.
the
You
people
should see
that
this
have a
place
real
with black
low
light.
immune system
Yeah.
will they'll get it, right? Old people and children and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you
They're
get weak.
Yeah.
highly immune to it. When you're weak,
Yeah, it's like every time I get like run down, I always get a cold.
Yeah.
Or the flu. Never staph infection.
burning
though.
the candle at both ends.
Yeah. And it's not like usually like while you're doing it, it's like you're like running out of energy, you've been working like 12 days straight or something like that, long days, and then finally you get like a weekend off, and then the next thing you know on like Monday you're like
Yeah.
a dog.
As
Yeah.
soon as you slow down.
Yeah.
That's when it hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, usually you'll have the weekend off though and you'll just party. That's why you're also just like throwing more shit into your body.
Don't blame it on the party.
No?
It was all work related.
It's just working.
Yeah, I should have followed the combo plan.
Yeah, that's what they say about alcoholics, eh? Like when they get
Watch your
admitted.
time.
This is a word of warning.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so good.
Yeah, you
As
see,
long as you're drinking, they say it's fine. And then when they get admitted to hospital and they go cold turkey, that's when their immune system drops
Yeah.
and they get all these diseases.
that's what happened to Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
figure. Yeah,
she like
she's-
stopped cold turkey, and then like 2 days later, she like dropped dead. Her
Never-
system just wasn't used to like not running with alcohol in it, and it like withdrew from that, and I think she had a heart attack.
Is that what
What's-
really
yeah.
shocked your
Yeah.
system?
Yeah,
I think it's
I think her
yeah.
heart stopped.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I wonder how much booze she was actually drinking though. Must have been a fuckload.
Just all day.
Yeah,
First
Since you
thing in the
wake up.
morning and right into the
Well-
bottle till the last thing when she goes to sleep.
Could you imagine
For
all
years.
of a sudden there's no beer? Beer you can't get anymore. Like there's like what happened. What is it back in the 70s or early 80s when they had the
I remember
strike,
running out
the
of
beer strike?
Well, they used
Yeah.
to drive down to Point Roberts.
That's what my
Buy
dad.
beer.
That's what my dad did.
My
Yeah.
dad and his buddy they lived on the island,
Yeah.
and they came over, spent the night, then went across, like filled the whole car with booze,
Yeah.
and came back and then sold it and made a whole shitload of money on the island.
Well,
That's-
you remember the strike in 2002?
Yep, I do. I remember
Yeah.
it well because that's
That's
when I started
when-
drinking Milwaukee.
That's when I started drinking
Old
Pabst
Milwaukee.
and Old
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
yeah.
Why?
they trucked
'Cause
it
they
up.
were- yeah.
Because it was just a local strike, but they could still get the imported stuff from the
Something like
states.
that, yeah. They
Oh,
truck it up from
okay.
the States.
Yeah. It was a crisis, man.
Milwaukee.
get
Oh,
desperate.
Milwaukee's not Canadian.
It's from Milwaukee.
Wow.
Wow. I'm really surprised you didn't pick up on that.
You guys continue. I'm just gonna take a time out for a second. Wow.
Never occurred to
I
you?
don't even.
Yeah. Guess where Canadians made? Maybe that's the one you're thinking
Mexico?
of. No.
Wow.
I'm seriously considering, you can buy copper stills off the internet, eh? They have this sweet website called, I think it's like called Clawhammer Stills. And yeah, they send you that and the ingredients and how to do it. It wasn't even that much money. It's like $300. You buy yourself it's a small still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
But
one
if-
of those
but if you're
packaged
like-
things you can buy in Save on Foods?
No, you can't buy it on Save on Foods. They're
We used to be
selling
able to buy
stills there.
like beer kits at Save on Foods.
Oh, for beer kits, yeah, but not for like moonshine.
Oh, we still have moonshine at your house that needs to be distilled.
Yeah,
And
I
a
would
whole-
say
that stuff is probably
I would-
really strong.
No, I would say that stuff's probably gone bad by now.
You gotta watch that. You just go blind.
Yeah, we brewed up a batch.
Make
Well,
the
we got
moonshine
halfway
and they go
brewed
in
a
back.
batch in like
That was
2009.
2008. No,
Eight.
was it the first year?
I think it was.
First summer, 2008.
Yeah.
We
Are you
brewed
trying
it.
to age it?
So no, we
pretty
just
old.
we just lost interest and never threw it out. It's still sitting there, and we just never distilled
Adam's
it.
mom put a kibosh on it.
Yeah,
basically.
mom did put a kibosh on it.
She was
like,
like,
"You
"This
guys
is
aren't
not,"
drinking
because
that.
we had to use his dad's still.
Yeah.
And do it all at his place, and his mom was like,
And mom retired that still from
She's
dad a
like,
long
"You
time
guys
ago."
are just going to be idiots on that stuff. You're not allowed."
Which she made a good
She
point.
very, 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 very possible that
Did
that's
you ever
exactly
try it?
what happened.
Now, what was your source
Well, we-
material for it?
we were
used
using
peaches?
cherries.
Or no, we used more cherries and
I think it was we did two
Blackberries?
batches. I think we did cherries and peaches.
So you're
yeah,
making
cherries
prison
and
liquor.
peaches. Pretty much.
Kind of.
Have you seen that on TV? They
No.
take they'll take fruit and ferment it, like from their fruit, all their fruit cups. They'll collect
Yeah.
them and they'll ferment them
Yeah.
in their cell, and then that'll turn into enough liquor.
I wonder. Yeah. Then all they gotta do is like you just need to know like basic science, and you can figure out the shit. Like all you gotta do is get a pot and put the shit in there and cook it up. Then you need a way to collect the condensation, which is the actual alcohol.
Yeah.
That's how distill works. You have all of your like rotten fruit in the bottom of this barrel with a flame underneath, and usually at the top you have a lid that has cold water in the top of it, and underneath it's like a cone shaped. So then when you cook the stuff at the bottom, all the vapors like rise up and they hit the cold water, and then they just go to the center of the cone and drip off, and they just catch it, and like that goes out of the still into a bottle, and that's alcohol. That's it. Super simple.
Very.
So
simple, yeah.
the guys just got to like rig up something like that.
It's all the temperature.
Yeah, but you get pretty crafty in jail. You're in there for a long time. You got a lot of time on your hands. I'd be able to rig up a still if I had that kind of time. You get a big kitchen pot and like maybe some spoons or something. I figured out a lot of potatoes. They're probably throwing potato peels like crazy away in jail.
I wonder how good.
Then I'd be the king because I had all the booze.
I really wish we'd followed through with that stuff.
Going to jail?
There's still time.
But still.
No, that stuff's probably. It would be better. I would just feel a lot safer if we just started over. Just forget
Doing
about
a
that
new one?
old 8-year-old
Fair
cherries.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, they're rotten for certain.
I'd be down for doing that. Is it illegal here to make moonshine?
No, it's illegal. Yes. Okay. You can own a still. Owning a still is perfectly legal. You can buy a still off the internet. You can keep it at your home. No problem. You get in trouble is when you actually start distilling. So if you're going to get busted by the cops, they have to catch you actually cooking. Or maybe they find the actual moonshine itself that they know you cooked up. But, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So you're allowed to own the stove, but you're not allowed to cook any food in
Yeah,
it?
well, it's like you're allowed to own a
That's
gun,
right.
you're just not allowed to shoot anyone.
That's right.
You can still
You can have guns.
But you can still shoot
you
the
can still
gun.
shoot the gun.
Yeah, okay, well maybe you can distill water probably, get
And
pure
then
water. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, get distilled water.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be an excuse. There's got to be a good reason to own a still.
This doesn't have no alcohol in it. It's just water.
Yeah, distilled water. But yeah, you can buy these copper ones that come with all the ingredients. I'm gonna get one. It's like $300 for the 5-gallon one. It's a little bit of a waste of money.
Try it out.
Yeah, you never know if we go into like an apocalypse Armageddon. We're gonna need
We're
booze to
gonna
survive.
need-
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna need
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot
That's
of
where
people
your hunting
overstressed.
skills come in
Well,
handy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I would like to start. I need to buy a gun first. That's number one.
First, you gotta
What-
go get your hunting license.
Yeah, that's
your
number. And then you
firearms
gotta get your
license.
firearms license. First, you gotta get your firearms license.
That's right.
Then you gotta get your
Gun,
hunting
Then a
license.
hunting license. Wouldn't hunting license be last?
Well, either way, you can't
Doesn't
do
matter.
anything.
I guess
well,
you can
go
apply
to the gun
for it.
range.
You can do all that stuff basically
You can
at the
go
same time.
get your hunting license and your firearms license in the same course.
Yeah.
And then you can get your
You have to do a course?
restricted.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't just give guns
And you
away.
have to-
I didn't know.
You
I
have
like it's
to
America.
give like 2 witnesses that the cops phone and they're like, "Hey, is this guy psycho or what?"
Yeah.
And it's your buddy that you've known forever, and he's like, "Oh,
No.
he's not psycho.
No.
He's
Give
awesome.
him a gun."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
What are you gonna hunt? Why don't you go grizzly hunting with Clayton? That'd be a
Maybe I'll
wicked
work up
start
to that.
to it.
Like just go like deer hunting or something.
Just
to
go
start.
deer hunting.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we won't be going grizzly hunting.
No.
Yeah.
I don't,
You seem like you'd be more in like a marmot league.
Marmot.
Gophers.
Yeah, gophers. You'd be a gopher hunter.
Those are fucking tricky fuckers, man.
I
Gotta
can
be
see you
quick.
getting outsmarted.
I can see you getting a,
All of a sudden, the
anyone
gopher
getting
just digs a big
outsmarted.
hole and you fall in.
What is this fucking? We're watching Caddyshack.
Maybe. I don't know. You don't even know you thought Old Milwaukee was Canadian.
Yeah. Fuck.
Don't they make that Old Milwaukee in Canada?
I'm never gonna look.
Have you ever heard
I've been
my
trying.
Koko story? The Koko and
No.
Squamish story?
No. Oh, did you go to Squash
Last
Fest
year?
with them?
Yeah, last
okay. I
year
heard this
was-
Oh,
story.
see, someone else can tell the story.
Squamish Fest.
I think I've told this story. No, maybe not on the podcast.
Maybe not on the podcast. Let's hear it again, anyways. So Koko and I were. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So Koko and I were attended Squamish Fest opening day. We're camping there, so yeah, we snuck in a little bit of vodka and water, vodka and water bottles, and
Yeah.
we were having a good time.
Distilled water,
We
probably.
weren't feeling any pain.
Yeah.
And so one of the main acts is up. It's Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. You know, at the peak of his stardom.
First night.
Is he already in
First night.
decline?
Sorry,
Is he in decline?
I think he's in decline.
Yeah, he had that one
I
good
think
song.
he's peaked.
Two
yeah.
good songs.
He's reached critical mass.
Well, he hasn't come out with another album yet, so you gotta wait.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're really gonna see if he can continue.
Anyways, he's #1 star of the festival, headlining whatever
Yeah.
opening night. So we go up and we're kind of pushing our way to the front, and Ryan and I get separated a bit. Ryan's right up at the front, and he gets this idea in his head that he's going to jump on stage. So he gets someone to distract the security guard.
It was
at
actually
the
a
front
buddy of
fence.
mine. Like a guy, I ran into a guy right up at the front that I played football with.
He was security?
No, it wasn't
Oh.
security. Just a guy I knew was right up at front. I needed
Oh.
someone to
And you're like,
make
what's
a
this? buddy?"
distraction. So
Yeah, so like at every concert now, you have the stage, and then you have like a void, and then you
Yeah,
have the
8
fence.
feet, yeah.
And in that void is all the security guards.
Yeah.
So Ryan gets his buddy to distract the security guard and draw him forward towards the fence. As he runs around the side, jumps up on stage, gets one knee, and just about to pull his other leg up on stage right beside Macklemore, and security grabs him by
Yeah.
the leg, pulls him down, takes him in the back to the cops. They cut his wristband with like $100 worth of.
I just
Correct.
loaded the
Just
wrist
loaded
because
it
you
up.
actually load your wristbands up with your money for booze, so they can just scan it.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, until you lose it and you just
Until
put
you get
$80
cut.
on it.
Yeah, okay, but you did
Nice.
something stupid. But how you remember like going to Merit Music Fest and you went to the beer garden? They gave you all those merit bucks
Mm-hmm.
that you just inevitably lost or tipped the guy with. Those things were a scam. Having it on your wrist is way better. Then you can't even give him a tip anyway.
It is a better system.
Yeah, plus you
Yeah.
get really drunk.
There's no-
all you gotta do is get your hand out of your pocket and you cut more beer.
It's dangerous.
It is.
You don't have to
quite
fumble
dangerous.
around for coins. Merit bucks. Whatever, Pop.
Yeah.
What were you gonna do on stage once you got up there?
I wasn't even going.
What
Macklemore
were
was
you going to
actually
do?
no.
You probably should have just got up there and farted on the
Hold on.
microphone.
Macklemore was
And then
actually.
tried to recover.
I think that everybody probably would have just stopped and been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's the ultimate test, Coco.
I think-
if you can get back from that.
Macklemore was actually on the far other side, like the far side of the stage when I jumped up. I wasn't even gonna go for Macklemore. All I wanted to do was crowd surf. I
But
had
there's
this.
that big void in
thing.
front of. In front
I
of
was gonna jump
You
it.
could have just no.
I was gonna go to the back
No,
of the stage
you were not. No,
and
you
run
were-
and jump.
You may have thought you were going to.
No, I would have.
No,
easily.
No, you
But
would have
it
ended up
wasn't-
another splatter victim.
No, I easily could have jumped to the crowd.
What do you think?
Easily.
You were there.
I think Ryan's in his head. He thought he was going to get on stage.
And he would get asked to do a duet.
Yeah, basically. I think he thought Macklemore was going to come over and go, "Look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's really cool."
Yeah.
I think he part of my entourage now. I think that's what. was
Yeah. He's
No,
got the
no,
look.
no,
This
no,
is
no,
what
no,
was
no,
playing
no.
down in
No,
your
no,
head.
no,
This
no,
was
no.
the fantasy.
I, honest to God, and I told the
Macklemore,
cop
wanna see how
this
far I can jump?
when he had his knee on my throat. I said, "Man, all I wanted to do was crowd surf. I didn't want to touch Macklemore." And the guy, he was like, because when I could hear, as they were pulling me down. The guy had this guy was probably 350. Like this guy was massive. Grabbed my
Security
leg
guard.
like I was nothing, and
Yeah.
just pulled me right down. And I was just like,
You around like
shit.
that.
And as he's doing that, he's like, as they're carrying me back to like the in behind the stage, like I can hear like trying to call RCM. He's trying to get Macklemore, and I'm sitting. No, man, I just wanted to I'm fucking ripped. I'm like, I just wanted to crowd surf, man. Like I don't
Started
know.
to break down in tears.
No, not at all.
I didn't
I
try to get
honestly, I don't think I could have played it any cooler.
Right.
No, all I did, I didn't
This was
move.
quite the fantasy
I didn't
of
move.
yours.
I just let them do whatever they're doing. I just stayed completely still.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I just wanted
Just
to crowd
treat it
surf.
like a bear attack.
Not a big deal. The cop got me up, and the cop
Pretend to be dead.
They didn't handcuff me. They didn't anything. The guy just walked beside me. He wasn't even holding on to me. They cut my shit. The cop walked me to the gate and kicked me out.
Night one.
Yeah.
And we were camping on site, so
Night one.
without a wristband, he lost $100 on it
Yeah.
for booze. And then he couldn't get back into the campsite because you need a wristband to scan it.
Yeah, just like
campsite.
Mary. Yeah.
So this is night one.
Mission
then
Impossible.
I get a
Cue
text.
Mission Impossible.
I'm sitting there watching Macklemore having a good time. I get this text. "I'm out, man." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I got kicked out." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, I rushed the stage with Macklemore on it. I got my wristband caught. I'm out." I'm like,
So you're just
Yeah, you
completely
see
by
it?
yourself?
All by myself.
Yeah.
This is
You concocted a crazy idea.
9:30, 10 o'clock.
You must
on
have
the
been
first night.
really high, sitting there looking at Macklemore, being like, "I bet I can get on that stage,
Pretty
do
much.
a fart on the
That
microphone,
is
do a duet, and then jump back in the crowd."
That's exactly what happened.
everyone cheers. Koko.
Go. Could you imagine?
I noticed
I
you
could have
had.
been famous right now.
Yeah.
They just
People just
Like,
move.
one
That
more
doesn't happen.
foot.
They're just like you go run and jump, and they just
They just
smash.
park. You would belly flop on the ground.
We'll make
no
room.
way.
Yeah.
What was going on in my head was similar to what you described, but it literally I did. I just wanted to get on stage, and I thought everyone would start cheering, and then I was gonna jump in the crowd, and it's like, "Ah!" And then there was gonna start a whole rush of people jumping and crowd. That's
Koko.
where I was like, I'm gonna really get this party started.
So how did you
Even
get-
though there's
Macklemore's not
like,
doing it. Coco needs to step this.
whatever,
you know.
10,000 people here right now.
Right, man.
I'm
Yeah.
really gonna get this party started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go as I really.
No.
Not even close.
So how did you get back into the campsite?
Well, basically I scaled because it was in a the campsite was basically like where this, like there's a park there and like a bunch of like a sports complex.
Yeah.
So where all the baseball and football fields are
Yeah.
in a fenced area, that's where they had the tent city.
Right.
So and they have security around the whole fence. So
Okay.
I just started, like, I got down low and I was literally Mission Impossible crawling along the ground, hammered,
Yeah.
stoned,
Yeah.
just like, like this is what's going through my head. I think I'm the fucking man at this point in time. So
Still, even after the booting out.
even after. So I went down the one fence line through the trees, and then I seen there's like at one of the baseball diamond there's the dugout, and you can get in right there, but the security guard kind of paces back and forth in that one
Right.
area.
Gotta time it.
So I was laying there, I was waiting, and then the guy seen me, and I was like, "Fuck!" And he's like, "Hey." And I just pretended like I was asleep. And
Play
he's
dead
like,
again.
Hey,
Go to the old bear
hey.
tactic.
That's it. And
That's
I
worked before.
I just kind of like was like,
Yeah,
hey man, what's up? And the guy's like, you okay? And I was like, yeah man, sorry, I just fell asleep. Yeah, I'm good. And he was like, you alright? You need any help? I was like, no, I'm good man, I'm gonna go. And he's like, okay. And he just like turned around and walked the other way, and I got up and walked in.
Yeah, that's
And
security
actually,
guy.
no,
It's not gonna
sorry,
be
I
calm.
didn't go in where the dugout was because he walked that. All I needed was time for him to walk to one end so I could run, get to the other side of the dugout while he walked the other way, and then I could go. So once he started walking back, then I went and found a hole in the fence and got in. Right by where the porta potties and shit were. You could tell people were like going out there to piss when it smelled really bad.
And you're crawling through it?
Yeah,
I wasn't more like
crawling.
Shawshank Redemption, the Mission Impossible.
No, I wasn't crawling anymore at that point.
No?
But yeah, that was one of the craziest things I've ever done, probably. I think.
And then you had no wristband for the rest of the weekend? So you
No,
didn't see any more concerts?
luckily there was a girl there, someone, I think her friend was sick, or her grandma was sick, or something.
She had to leave.
Someone wasn't feeling well, someone had to leave that we knew, we worked with, so I had to like use like a knife and pry her wristband off.
Yep.
And finally got it off, and then I had to pry it and try and get it on, which took a while. But then we got it on, and it was good. It was perfect.
No harm, no foul.
These
No
are
harm, no
kind of
foul.
activities at like a festival which wind up taking the entire night.
Yeah.
You see like one show, and the rest of the time you spend getting kicked out and trying to sneak back in and
Yeah.
steal wristbands.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I missed
Every time.
the whole second half of his show. I didn't see anybody else that night. I got back. I found like some girl was sitting by herself in a camper. I just went and sat down and started talking to her and spent the whole night. And then her friend showed up and just had beers with a bunch of people I never met before.
And that's the main story of the whole event.
That's
The
how
whole
my,
weekend.
That's
Yeah.
basically
That's
all
the
I
main
remember.
story.
Better
Yeah.
than that. Come
That
on.
night.
Yeah.
nothing else even close to that happened.
That's right.
Like the rest of it was just drinking beers and watching some concerts.
So you two are going to Oktoberfest together?
Yeah, so that's a precursor to October.
When do you guys leave?
17th
17th September.
September.
Like a month.
Yeah, it's
Less-
coming up
less
quick,
than,
man.
yeah.
Less than a month.
Yeah.
And you're flying to Amsterdam?
No,
No.
yeah, we're flying through Amsterdam
Yeah.
to
and
Munich
How long are you in Amsterdam for? Just to get the connector?
just to get the connector.
Yeah.
But we leave from Amsterdam. on the other
Ah.
side of it, so we will be in Amsterdam for 3 or 4 nights.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amsterdam's hardcore. You ever been to Oktoberfest before?
First time.
You ever
Have
been,
you
you ever
been
been to
to
Europe
Europe?
before?
I don't even
I've
ask you
been
that
to
yet.
UK. I've never been to Europe.
Yeah, UK's pretty good. Where are you guys staying?
For Oktoberfest?
Yeah.
We're staying with friends.
Oh, you have friends
German
there?
friends, yeah.
German friends.
Yeah, they offer
That's
to.
sweet.
They offer to.
You're gonna get the full-on experience.
Yes, they offer to escort us and
Yeah.
you know.
You gonna get some lederhosen?
I already have a pair.
Do you?
I have a set ready to go.
What about you,
How-
Koko?
I'll get some, but I don't know how if we're gonna pack as lightly as you say we are.
You
how
buy it there.
I gotta have that.
You,
Well,
you buy
priorities.
it there,
How much
and
is
then
it
Oh,
there?
yeah.
you're probably gonna pay $100 for a good
Yeah.
pair of lederhosen.
$100.
That's
Yeah.
120.
That, in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, that's nothing.
And there's different styles, eh? They have like the short shorts are for like the guys that have big calf muscles, and apparently that's like super sexy to the women in Germany.
Calves.
And yeah, and then the longer ones are for the guys with like weak calves. You probably have to get a longer one.
I got calves on me, okay?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Now all of a
Tother's,
sudden you've got.
Tother's watching. He just
Oh.
texted me.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, Tother?
How about you don't send me a text?
Yeah, you're not. There's 2 actually. I think we had 2 listeners. I don't
No,
know the other
I don't
one.
know.
Tother's been to Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
who you went with
yeah,
the first
he-
time,
he's got
right?
good calf
No,
muscles.
you said you didn't go with him the first
No,
time.
he went by himself. He didn't go with me. He went
Oh.
with Greg.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm really starting to get fucking pumped.
yeah.
Like,
but you guys have got.
I'm
So
excited.
you're gonna get like actual. See, the thing is, if you don't speak German, it can be hard to get in there at a good table.
Yep.
Because the locals got that shit all locked down. So you always wind up at like the rowdy tents, which is probably where you want to be anyway, but just like slugging it out to get a spot. Because you can't even get a beer unless you have a seat.
Really?
And, oh, yeah,
You have
man.
to be at a seat
You have to
to
be
get
at
a
a
beer. That's what I've
seat.
heard, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do. And the seats are packed. I went there on opening day, and it opened at 9, and I didn't get a beer until 4.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Shit.
But they didn't actually tap the keg till noon, which I didn't know. But it still took 4 hours to get the
So
first
what
beer.
did you do? Just sat
I
around
just sat there and
talked to
saved my
people?
spot. It was a beauty seat. I couldn't
Why
give it
didn't-
up. But then, at like 4 o'clock, I was getting pretty bored, and I only had like 2 beer, and I was like, fuck this. And I went and I just hit up a bunch of amusement park rides, and then went to a crappier tent.
Which tent were you at? You were at
That was
Lowbrow?
at Hofbrau, I think.
Okay.
Which it's a beauty spot. But what day do you get to Munich?
It's the Thursday.
Is that like opening day of Munich?
No, I think Saturday, isn't it? Isn't that when they do the parade?
I can't remember.
Tap
Yes,
keg?
yeah, that's on
Saturday.
Saturday, and you get there the Thursday after. Okay, so you're
No, we
there.
got the Thursday before.
So we'll have a
The
couple
Thursday
There
before
for
days.
opening weekend.
Oh, you're there for opening. Yeah, okay, that's what I did. If I were you, I wouldn't even bother. Like, opening day is hard because you're gonna sit around a lot, and then you're just gonna wait forever to get a beer, and the place shuts down at like 11 o'clock. It's not open. Well, it's open. You know, people there start boozing at like 10 a.m. So it goes to like 11.
Did
and
they not
that's it.
start
It's not,
serving beer till 12, you said?
No,
they
no,
tap
that's
it?
on the first day. That's when they tap the first keg. After that, I think you can get beer at like 9 o'clock. But if you want a really good seat, you got to get down there like early. But I don't know. I wasn't really too concerned about that. Any seat would do. But they just start cramming. There's definitely no fire code at this place. They just cram them in there. If a fire ever broke up, thousands of people would die for certain. There would be tramplings. It would be chaos. Like always, I think there's like 10,000 people fit in each tent.
Really?
Do they have barbecues going?
Yeah, you can. They cook a lot of meat there. Germans like beer, and they like chocolate, and they like meat.
Yeah.
And that's what you
Yeah.
find.
Like
Pretzels?
like
Yeah,
steaks
pretzels, a
or
lot- and
like
bratwurst.
what
Ham.
kind of like
Yeah.
like
They don't get
sausages?
steaks, yeah, the sausages, or you get
sausages.
like a roasted hen or a roasted lamb. They have a lot of
Hmm.
lamb chops there and stuff like that. The food's pretty good. You can probably like meat and potato.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I like
that.
it, man. German food. That meal when we went to Vegas and went to the
Stick to your
Hofbrau
ribs.
house.
Yeah.
Food, right?
Yes.
That was one of the best meals I've ever had.
Mhm.
So good. Sauerkraut. Fuck.
Germany doesn't get enough credit as like a great tourist country. It had, I mean, well, it's just maybe it's just my kind of place. I'm an avid beer drinker, and I like meat and potatoes. And they have really hot chicks at Oktoberfest, dressed up in like the dirndl. You got to know about that too. So the dirndl is like the traditional dress, right? But if they, you have to look into this. I can't remember anymore. If they have like, there's a bow around the middle, like an apron, and if they have the knot tied up on the left, it means they're single, and if it's like tied up on the right, it means they're like
Okay,
married.
we need to go. I need
Yeah,
to go.
you need to know about that shit
All
for
right,
certain,
I need to
because
do
that
that,
way
yeah.
you don't waste any time,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty smart thing. Whoever came up with that. That way you know. Like imagine here
should
if
go
the
over there.
girls,
Yeah.
like they had a bow or something on one side or the other, and you knew before you even talked to them if the girl was single or not single. It could save a lot of wasted small talk.
Kind of like a wedding ring.
Why is it wasted small talk?
Yeah, that's
but we
so
had-
minor. Wedding rings are so hard to spot.
That's when
How
you're.
often do you look at a girl's
That's-
fingers?
I
Really?
don't.
Not until I got to about 25. Then I'm like, I gotta start. Girls are getting married now.
I think that's when you're like 18. Like you need to like know 18 to 21. You need to know that the person's single or not single. It might help. But when you get to like 30, I think people just sit down and talk, and then it comes up. But I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying
the
it's a
same.
great system.
You're not like hunting
I
when
think
you're
it's a good
30
system.
years old.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe.
It is a good system.
It
The,
is.
the trouble is with picking up girls in Oktoberfest is that pretty much everyone there speaks English, but it's their second language. And as the night goes on and the girls have like a few more drinks, the English is the first thing to go. And then they're pretty much speaking all German, and it's all like hand signals from there. And you're usually getting pretty drunk at this point too, and that's when things start to go not that well.
I did download an app to try to learn a little bit of conversational German.
That was probably pretty hard.
In
In a short time.
I'm stuck on basically I am the boy, you are the girl, but I think that's
Yeah.
all I need to know.
Hopefully, you would hope that they would realize that before they start the conversation, though.
Yeah, but all you need overseas is a few quick.
That could make
quips,
them laugh. That could
right?
make them
All
laugh.
you need to get a good laugh out
Yeah.
of them, right?
Are you single?
I am single.
Yeah. I wasn't hitting on you. I see you hesitated to answer.
Well, we're in a small room full of men.
So, what kind of traveling have you done?
I've been to Europe.
Yeah.
I went to Europe by myself when I was 18.
By yourself?
All by yourself?
Yeah,
Wow.
I just threw a pack on and left. And
How long were you gone for?
A month.
A month? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Flew into London.
Yeah.
Just traveled around there a little bit. Did Greece. Then went to Greece, Italy, Switzerland, Belgium, through France, Luxembourg, and Amsterdam.
All
You did
in
like
1 month?
All in
West,
I was just sort of like traveling around.
all Western Europe.
Yeah,
Pretty
jumping
much.
on trains and seeing as much
That's
as you
what
can
I
see.
did too. And
Yeah,
then like
it
a
was
couple
pretty
years
awesome.
later, I went back. Well, the furthest like east I got was Czech Republic, and then a couple years later I went like to Greece too. But I've still got a massive chunk of Eastern Europe, which
Yeah.
everybody says is supposed to be gorgeous.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
best
That's like where
part.
the best
Poland.
medieval,
Yeah.
Krakow.
cities are. Yeah, Krakow, exactly. That's where I would like to go.
Coco and I are going to Prague.
Yeah, I went to Prague too. Rented
So
scooters
looking forward
there. Drove around. Definitely could not read the road signs, and the cops handed us tickets left, right, and center. Eventually, they just took our scooters away. They like parked us, and they're like, "That's it. You guys are done." Prague is sketchy because they give you the ticket, and they know you're not from there. So we're like, we'll just freaking leave and never pay these. They make you pay cash on spot
Yeah.
for the ticket. And then the cop takes the money and puts it in his pocket.
Right.
Oh yeah.
What?
And,
Mexico.
yeah, and he,
course.
Like Mexico, yeah.
yeah, and he leaves you with like a receipt, but I don't even know what the fuck it says. Could be
Yeah.
a train stub for
They
all I
probably
know.
do that with all tourists. Because
Sure.
they're not going to ask questions. They don't care. They're
No,
not gonna
and
they
you
don't
don't
want
know
to fucking deal with anything. They just want, Kate, leave me alone.
The only money they're
you don't
making
know,
is
right?
that money. They're probably only getting paid $12 an hour.
Well, yeah, that was back
Comparable.
when like Czech Republic had just, or no, they hadn't even joined the euro yet. So yeah, they were still like fairly poor.
Exactly.
And you would go to the ATM machine, and fuck, what was their currency in? I think it was kroner. And you would take out like $5,000 bills, $10,000 bills, because
Yeah.
their shit was so inflated that it was like worth practically nothing. So
Yeah.
then when you went out to like dinner though, you would get these bills for like 30,000 kroner, and then you would like, all I have is the 50,000 or whatever, and you give them that, and then you got to like try and figure out the change in your head. I rounded those up, but once you get like 37 and like you give them like 75 or whatever, it gets like pretty confusing. You're like, especially if you're getting drunk, trying to figure out how many thousand change am I getting here.
Yeah, it happened to me in Vietnam. It's the currency is called the dong.
The
And
dong.
The dong. So
Nice.
went to the
How many
ATM.
dongs did you have?
Oh, I'm about to tell you.
Whole
went to
pocket full.
the ATM and like
Pocketful.
took out money. A pocket full of dongs. 2 million to be exact.
Oh, yeah.
Punching in, it's like $200 is about 2 million dong. So 2 million dong comes shooting out of the ATM. Right, and I put it in my wallet. 2 million dogs. Right? Yeah. 2 million dogs, and I put all these dongs in
Yeah.
my wallet.
Yeah.
2 million of them.
Yeah.
And I can't even fold the fucking wallet.
Right.
There's so many dongs in my wallet.
Yeah.
And then I'm all paranoid. I'm like, I'm all sweating. I'm like, what if I get robbed? I got 2 million.
Dongs.
2 million dongs. My pocket's like falls around full of dongs, and then I'm like, wait, calm down. It's only $200, right?
Right.
Who cares if you get robbed? It's $200. That's nothing.
That's true.
Where is this? Sorry,
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
It's more of a pain in the ass.
$200 is probably
Just-
$2,000 to them.
It was 2 million, is what I'm saying.
No, but like,
Yeah,
how,
Oh, sorry.
Come-
Yeah.
how much? How long
Comparable.
would $200 last you?
Well, beer is like $1 at the most. So if
For
you want to
one?
use that as your standard currency, right?
Yeah,
Beer.
A
so
beer
you're gonna
is-
drink like 20 beer a day, so you're gonna last like 10 days before you get a refuel. If you don't buy any food.
Yeah, you
It's
can
just, why did they make it so you have to have so
They have like
many
a month's
bills?
salary for them.
It's
Yeah.
retarded.
And it's not even that you have so many bills. It's like one bill's like $100,000 or something. It's 100,000 dong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like a 20 to them.
that definitely gets confusing. You definitely don't want to go to Liberia right now. That's where they have the massive Ebola
Was it?
outbreak.
Oh.
And they had all these people in quarantine, I think it was like 3 days ago, and they get tired of being locked up in this pen.
Oh,
And they
shit.
raided the Ebola clinic and apparently stole bloody sheets and bandages, which is exactly how the disease is spread.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Anybody been to Africa?
No.
Yeah,
God.
I went one time very briefly.
Remember we had Radica
Morocco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Which, if you stay like in the very north, I mean, even the north is like pretty sketchy, or you go like right down to the bottom. But that whole middle of the continent,
No, but even
Yeah.
South
That's-
Africa is fucking
well, yeah, it
nuts.
is, but it gets even crazier in the middle.
Yeah.
South Africa would probably be, I don't know, I would maybe like one of the more milder countries, and it's still vicious as shit. I think it's like the rape capital of the world. I don't think they have Ebola there though. I would go there.
They
Ebola
have
scares the shit out
Isn't
of
it
me.
like 50% of their population has AIDS? Something ridiculous
50?
like that.
That's
In
a
South
lot.
Africa, I
No,
heard
I
it's
would
like
think
some
almost
stupid
higher.
percentage in South Africa
Well, I was
is infected
reading
with HIV.
They started.
That's so
they
much.
started to smoke AIDS drugs to get high.
You
What?
can get high off that?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, they perverted somehow, and then they.
Do you ever watch Vice News?
That was on Vice.
That's
Yeah.
when you said that, I remembered that. Yeah, I seen that. But they also have a really crazy Ebola documentary on there too. Have you seen that one?
No.
No, I haven't seen that
buddy,
one either.
it's
I don't know
scary.
what check.
See, Ebola was pretty big, like a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago. It was a big outbreak
think-
in Africa.
Was it?
Was there?
Yeah, when it first came to kind of mass media, it was a
Right.
big outbreak. I think it was the Congo or Central Africa, and then now it's kind of made a resurgence,
Yeah.
and it's kind of catching on like wildfire.
Yeah. Well, you know they get it from like eating bats and monkeys, eh?
Yeah.
Eating
That
bats and-
yep,
yeah.
that's where it like originated, and the monkeys and
Meat
the
is
bats.
meat, right?
Yeah, they call it bush. they call it bush meat.
Oh, that's the hunter. Meat is meat.
Yeah, yeah. Don't eat any bush meat.
No.
No bush.
Yeah, and they showed this warehouse in Liberia that was just full of like hanging monkeys. They all looked like jerky. They'd been like dried or something like that. And the people
Cured.
just like they like grab them off a hook and like rip off an arm and start chewing on it.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Man, it's crazy. And yeah, that's how most of them get Ebola. But these crazy bastards stole all that shit from the Ebola clinic. And that was right in the center of Liberia too.
Why did they steal?
They were just
Ebola
they were mad and angry for being put in quarantine and nothing was happening. They weren't getting fed properly. They didn't have proper shelter, and they went so they like rebelled against the people and they took their aggression
How's it gonna work?
out on the clinic apparently, where like the sickest of the sick were. And if you have Ebola, it bleeds out like your eyes, your
Yeah.
ears, your nose, and so that's how the sheets get all bloody. And these crazy guys, I don't know why they stole the sheets. Wouldn't be what I'd be taking. I wouldn't be going anywhere near that. If you watch the Vice documentary on Ebola, the journalist doing the documentary walks into the clinic. I'm like, holy shit, that's hardcore. They have pretty hardcore journalists on Vice, don't they?
Yeah, they subscribe to that kind of guerrilla journalism.
Yeah, but they go like right into like the
That's
most
what I mean,
crazy places. They're going into like Afghanistan and talking to like terrorists and
They're-
shit like
yeah.
that. Suicide bombers. They're interviewing
Fucking
them.
balls, man.
That what was that other guy's name?
They
in
sent a guy
Africa?
to North Korea. They sent a guy to
It's hardcore journalism.
yeah.
And so this guy walked right into the Ebola clinic, and I'm like, ooh! Out of all the places I've seen those Vice guys go,
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
go there.
No.
no,
Not a
Ebola
chance.
scares the shit out of me. Bleeding out of your eyes, ears, nose.
They say that it's actually 12% of South Africa's population has
It's
AIDS.
12.
Out of 48 million,
Yeah.
12%. And
a lot
Toth
less
just
than
sent me a
50.
message. He said that 35 million
more.
in Africa have AIDS.
35 million.
And 60% of the world's infected population is in Africa.
Yeah, they don't use condoms there.
Yeah,
There's
Catholic.
so much rape.
Yeah, is it Catholic? Is that what it
That's
is?
the problem is Catholic religion because
In Africa?
it dates back to colonialism and
Huh.
the use of Catholic Church as a way of source of medical and educational.
This is not like see. I guess this is me being ignorant, but when I think of Africa, like the middle part of Africa, I think of basically tribes people.
Yeah, there's
Like
still
you,
some
I don't.
there.
You don't
in
think of
Congo.
civilized culture for me because I've never. I don't know. I've never been
Yeah,
there.
well,
That's
it's
just what you-
definitely a third world country, but
Yeah.
like lots of them. When I was in Morocco, they all had cell phones and were texting.
Yeah.
They're paying like $1 a day or something like that, or maybe it was $1 a month. I don't know, but I pay like $100 a month, and all these people that were living in mud huts, they all had satellite dishes hanging off the side of the mud or the hut, and they were all on cell phones. It's kind of crazy like that. A lot of them get like motorbikes too.
Yeah.
They wear like the same clothes. They get a lot of like You know when like two football teams go to the Super Bowl?
Right.
Yeah, they make two sets of like winning shirts. Yeah, they get all of
So
that
there's
shit.
African kids with like Vancouver Canucks
Stanley Cup. Yeah, for sure there is.
10.
That would be hilarious. Maybe if you did go to Africa, that would be a picture you should try and get.
I'd pay big money for that shirt.
That would be
You
hilarious.
just bring the shirt with them and give the kid the shirt.
Just bring it back.
Yeah.
and
You take
start
a picture
wearing
with
around.
it.
People probably wouldn't be very impressed.
Africa's got some nice spots, but you have a good stamina. You're gonna get malaria for sure. Probably you're gonna be taking the pills.
Yeah, you'd have to like slowly. I don't even know how you would do it. Like your body would just go in shock going there. Like you couldn't be able to handle.
Well, no, I went there. I was
any
there
of
for
the
like a week.
bacteria, anything.
Yep. Yeah.
I didn't take
Diarrhea.
any.
You were there. You were in Morocco for a week.
Yeah, or at least 4 days.
What did you spend 4 days in Morocco doing?
For one, I took
Funny
it.
hash.
For one, I took a train all the way from Tangier down to Marrakesh, which was like a 12-hour train ride. That ate up a lot of time. That was the worst train I've ever been on my whole life. It was brutal. I don't know what you would compare the smell to. Wasn't good though.
Shit.
No, it didn't smell like shit. It smelled like a
Rotten
lot of
food?
African body odor, a lot of like feet in the lunchroom type of smell.
What's the difference between African body odor and our body
Koko
odor?
would be okay with that then.
Well, your body odor kind of takes on the smell of what you eat,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
So that's why the East Indians, they smell like curry for
yeah.
the most part.
Yeah, I was dancing around that one.
Yeah.
Why? But that was the first one that came
It's
to
true.
my
It's
eye.
the easiest one
They
to
do. They do
pinpoint.
smell like.
I think they prefer the term South Asian now.
Mm.
Do they?
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't even know
Asian?
that.
South Asians.
South Asian? Who are the North Asians?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Chinese maybe?
Australia's its
They
own
think we're
continent,
like-
right?
Mongolians?
Yeah. Okay. This
Mongols.
one. Double check that
Mongols.
one.
Yeah, yeah. I guess they. Yeah, they're like right at the top. Russia is too, but they have like a mixture between like an Asian and a European.
Eurasians,
Russians?
I think they're called.
Yeah, you're right.
You ever
Fuck,
seen
you know all
Russians?
your shit.
Yeah, lots of
You ever
Russians,
seen
but they-
Eastern
We
Russians?
need
No.
to get this
They
guy to
they
be.
look white, almost Asian.
Yeah. Huh.
Strange looking.
Yeah.
That's definitely not what I think. I would never. I never think. Oh, I never think Asian when you see Russians.
Yeah, but they
Right.
do. They definitely do have like. It must be like the western part of Russia looks like the European,
Hmm.
and it's like the more like the eastern part. They look more Asian.
Yeah.
They don't look that indifferent though from our like Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Especially
natives?
northern Indians.
Yeah, natives. Which I think is also the wrong term now. I can't
First
keep up on that
Nations?
shit.
First
I just got to use the first one that comes to my head. I'm
This
like,
whole politically correct thing is just getting out of control.
So what do you guys think about this Redskins?
Oh right. I
it's
don't know.
complicated.
It is.
Definitely haven't followed the story at all.
No.
But I know what's
I've-
going on. I just never bothered to develop opinion. I got really
The problem is, in my opinion, is if you're gonna change the one, you gotta change them all. Like
What do you
there's,
mean?
there's tons of racially discriminatory names for sports teams. There's tons of them. It's not just the Redskins.
Well, the Indians
Like what?
too, right?
The
Because they're not
Indians.
Indians. But Redskins is like a racial slur as far as they're concerned. So
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You would like
Well-
insert racial slur, like be calling. We're not going to say it on air here, but
Yeah.
take
Gotcha.
your pick.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And I think
I don't know,
I think
it's-
their point. I mean, I read an article today. And
Wouldn't-
it made a lot of sense. Is like, so redskin is a racial term that white people called Indians, or sorry, Aboriginals, First
Yeah.
Nations. But the white people came to their land, gave them smallpox on purpose,
Yeah.
Yep.
slaughtered as many of them as possible,
Yeah.
took
Yep.
their land,
Yep.
and then named football teams after a racial slur for them. So it doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of which.
And even after they told us that they weren't Indians, we were just like, no, you're Indians. We're going to keep calling you Indians.
Yeah. Cleveland,
You just don't know you're from India. You're mixed up. You're on the wrong side.
Well, I know there was one team. I'm just trying to look it up right now. I can't remember who it was, but they worked out a deal. It was the same type of a situation. They worked out a deal where they get a percentage of all the team's
So
profits.
boss-
Really?
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I'm wondering if it's the same thing, if that's what they're kind of looking for.
That'd be a hard deal to broker. Who's in charge of an entire slur? I'm gonna get my own slur and then broker a deal.
I can't remember what team it was though. It's bugging me now. But
Definitely never heard that story.
Cleveland Browns. No. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, that's if I don't know. I really don't know which way to go on that one because you can see both. Like they've been the Redskins for what 60 years. 50 close to 60 years probably that they've had that name, and now they're just starting to I don't want to say complain, it just sounds bad, but now they want it changed all of a sudden.
I don't know.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't seem right to like piss off an entire group of people just for the sake of a stupid team. If you look at it that way.
There's a bunch of movements going on right
Yeah,
now.
there's a whole bunch of them.
I'm gonna have to go on the side of the people. I don't want to see like a great old logo and a team and a franchise and a brand like go away, but I don't know. If you're pissing off everybody, that doesn't seem like a good thing either. It's bad karma.
No.
Yeah.
But if you, I'm just saying, you set a precedent. If they change, if they do go through with it and they make them change their name, you're just going to see a whole fucking slew of them now that are going to have to.
Well, there can't be that many. What are we talking? Like a dozen teams, maybe?
Well, let's see. Let's check
sports?
racial.
All I can think of is
names.
the Redskins, the Indians, and that's it.
Oops.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that big a deal, really. Change two names.
No, there's way more.
I would be very sad to see that Indian with the feather and the big smile go away, though. I always like that.
I know
He is cute.
Yeah, that was a brilliant logo.
Sure.
Granted,
Cleveland
very
Indians?
insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Disney already had to get rid of all their racist shit. They cleaned up shop like 25, 30 years ago almost. They're like, we can't have these like...
What did they get rid of?
Well, all of their racial cartoons. You don't remember any of those?
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, like always the Chinese guy running around with the
Oh,
rice
that's
hat,
who it
banging
was.
the gong.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
got to think. You got to think of like the college level. There's tons of college level football teams that have the same thing, and that's the one it was. It was the Florida, the Seminoles in Florida.
What's a Seminole?
Seminole tribe. It's a native tribe, and
Like Native American
get a
tribe?
percentage. They got to
That's
pick.
not really...
Yeah,
They
but
got
it's
to-
not a slur
no.
neither.
But
No, they're
that's what
standing
I'm saying,
behind
same
it
thing.
instead of fighting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
It's
taking it on as. But you got to think.
Yeah,
what's
but
the
it's not a
difference?
slur. It's like being like the
Just a name.
Ottawa Iroquois
Yeah.
or something like that.
Okay,
That's not a racial slur
Yeah.
either. It's the name of a tribe.
fair enough. What
Yeah.
they should do is do the same type of thing as what like gays and transsexuals have done. As
We've
they
never
take
named
that
any
name
major
as
sports
as
team.
their own, and they embrace it, and then it's
They
no
don't want
longer a
the
racial
Vancouver
term anymore.
transgender-
You don't want that. Yes.
Don't want to play on that team.
The Vancouver Rainbows.
That's not.
That's
There we go.
Vancouver
much better example.
Nah, we don't.
A lot of ass slapping
Not
on
the
that
Vancouver
team.
transgenders.
We don't need to get any softer around here. The Rainbows. Canucks were enough of a bust. in
There's
that.
nothing wrong with the name Canucks. It's the whole Orca thing that's got to go.
Yeah, I don't like the giant fish neither.
I just mean how
It's
soft
got to
that
be the
team
worst
we were.
jersey in the league.
Yeah, it
the
doesn't look
Orca?
that good. Yeah, it takes a while.
The stick is so much better. It's
yeah.
so clean, good
True,
colors.
but the sticker's kind of stupid too. It's very lacking of imagination at all.
I think it's classic though.
No, it is. It's
along
yeah.
the same lines.
I
as
think
like
we're
Sports
just
teams
nostalgic
don't
about
need
it.
Sport team
If
logos
you,
don't
if you
need
looked
it.
at a soccer team and their like thing was just like a ball, you'd be like, yeah, that's kind of gay.
The soccer teams have ads all over it. They don't even have logos.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. Like, those guys are rotated in left, right, and center, and they have those ads all over them.
Yep. Well, they don't have commercials during the game.
But that's what they
They
do
don't?
in the
No.
NHL.
And
Yeah.
games like 90
Or not-
minutes,
yeah,
or is it
well,
two
you get-
90-minute
you get a
halves?
half, right?
Two
45,
45-minute halves.
and they just play commercials in the half.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is why they have ads on field and on pictures.
I
That's
watched
a long time.
I watched a rant actually on the in Major League Baseball, and right now the big issue is how long the games take. Like
4
3 hours, between 3 and 4 hours. Like I think average right now is 3 hours and 5 minutes is the average game, which is a half an hour longer than it was back in the 80s.
Okay.
Right? And the
Why should it get longer?
commissioner went out and put out a statement about how, you know, this he's like 80 years old. This how they need to batters can't be stepping out, and they always just undo their gloves and put them back together and hold time and do all these things that slow the game down. But this guy did a rant, sports broadcaster, and basically his point was that if you listen to what they're talking about when they're broadcasting and these in between pitches, that's where all their ads are. So really, all the commissioner would have to do, there's a rule for batters stepping out of the box, and there's a rule that the pitcher has to deliver the ball within 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
These rules, they're
Never
there,
happens, though.
but they're never enforced. All the commissioner has to do is send out an email to every ump and say,
Yeah, but doesn't the commissioner probably works for the league, who's benefiting the most from those ads?
that's exactly what I'm saying. But he's coming out and making a statement that they need to shorten the game. And yet, he can't. He's been saying that since like 1993. They showed an article where he said that it needed to be shortened, all these things needed to be done, and nothing happened. And that was 11 years ago.
How long are these games?
Over 3 hours. Football games are usually around 3 hours.
That's
NFL
so
games.
fucking long. I don't know how you used to do that. When we lived in that condo, you would dedicate entire days to sitting on the couch and watching a football game.
Yeah.
You
Football's
did
an
nothing.
amazing sport.
You would sit on the couch with a pile of gummy bears and a
That's a
case
tip.
of Budweiser.
I don't do that very often. I don't do that often anymore.
You just had those
I'll usually watch on a Sunday. Like maybe out of every 2 months, I'll spend a full Sunday just watching football, and that's it. But
That
for the most
game-
part, I might watch one game on a Sunday now, like I did. There's too much other stuff going on.
That game definitely does not attract my attention like
It's
that.
an amazing.
It's
fucking
not.
sport. It's an
You're trying to
amazing
get one
sport.
ball from one side to the other.
I used to hate football, and as soon as I started
not
watching
amazing.
it is amazing.
It's not amazing.
It is a
You may find it
ridiculously
entertaining.
amazing
It's not
sport. It is. It's the most intricate sport that there is.
Intricate?
When you come to game plan,
I'm gonna find one here.
you don't think so?
No, there's got to be something more intricate
What?
than that. What about cricket?
No.
I don't know what the fuck's going on there. It's got
No.
Cricket's
paddles running
Positioning of players.
around. Yeah, that seems
I like
intricate.
it.
Those games
You're-
last days.
The
That's-
amount of
that's tricky, yeah.
substitutions and play calls and differences in the NFL there's nothing
But
like it.
isn't all of that
Nothing
just like
like it.
slowing the whole thing down, and you're not actually getting that much playing?
What do you mean slowing it down?
They don't move that much. There's like long gaps where they're just they're lined
no,
up.
there's not.
Yes, there is.
No, you have
They're
you
doing
have
this. They're throwing
you only have
flags.
30 seconds between plays.
Maybe I just have
Or
ADD.
45 seconds, I can't remember what it is, between plays.
I believe they averaged it out, and it's like 8 minutes of actual game time out of 3 hours.
Yeah,
8
that's
minutes.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
because
so
of
most of
the-
the time you're just watching a referee or a coach
No.
like hide his face
You're
and
not.
like
You're
wiggle
watching
his
them in
ears.
the huddle, you're watching them come up to the line, you're watching their formations, you're
For what?
looking at the defensive formation, the offensive formation. Are they trying to stop the run and they're trying to go down the field? Is it
But how do you find that interesting day in and day out?
But it's not day in, day out. They only play 3 days a week max. The
Yeah,
NFL's
it makes it
on
hard on
TV.
us.
The NFL's on Sundays. They just recently put it last year to every Thursday, and then Monday night. That's it. And they don't even do the Saturday night games at the end of the season anymore.
What I think here is you've been sucked in by some dubious advertising and management by the league.
No.
Yeah, they
No.
convinced you to be
You
a
watch-
super fan.
you cannot
And you're
watch a
I gotta
football
watch all
game.
these games. I gotta get into it. I gotta watch the pregame and the postgame.
I don't watch.
I gotta analyze this shit. I am a super fan.
I never get that far into it. Like I don't do any fantasy football. I don't do any of that stuff. I do one pool where you pick each week. You pick who you think's going to win each game. That's it.
Yeah, I do that as well.
It's
Gambling
simple.
makes it more
It's
interesting.
extremely simple.
Yeah.
So the only reason why it's
That
popular
definitely
is
is
gambling.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. That makes a huge difference.
But
Having said what I just said, you definitely do need some days where you just sit on the couch sometimes too.
yeah, and football, and you don't agree. You don't like football, but you
I
aren't
don't
a
like
fan
team
of any
sports.
team
no,
sports.
team sports. Yeah.
Which I don't get.
Well,
Like,
and I don't like
love
golf
team
either, and that's a
sports.
singular sport.
There's nothing better than that. There's nothing
I
better
just
than
like
watching
fighting.
a team who works together and all the pieces
Not
are.
that type of guy.
Yeah.
I want to do by myself. I like the one guy that's like out there by himself, like Muhammad Ali style. That was
But
interesting
he's
to
not.
watch.
Also, not. He's not necessarily
Well, he has a
one guy.
coach.
He has a team of people helping him,
Yeah, but they're nothing without him.
and he's nothing without them.
He's
He's
still
not
being
where
Muhammad
he
Ali.
is. He is still Muhammad Ali, but he's not. He doesn't get where he gets without the people who helped him along the way.
No, but what I mean
And
is,
there's, I think, in any
But he
great,
is the fighter.
yeah,
yeah, he's the one. He's the one
He is
with
the talent.
Yeah.
He's the one taking
100%.
him.
He's the one with the talent, but that's why you see so many, like same with like in the UFC, so many guys who you have these coaches who fizzled out in their career and yet are able to make these guys the best that they can be.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Because
definitely
you
something
need
to it.
you need the guy with the talent, the just
sure.
and the drive
And all
to,
the contacts.
to hit, yeah. And
the
then you
knowledge,
need the guy with the
technique.
knowledge, the technique, the innovator.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the show, you're not even watching that part. The entertaining part is the fight. And it's just the one guy with all of his knowledge fighting another guy.
I'm definitely with Adam on
Yeah.
the sports.
I like that.
I'm not a sports guy.
No.
I
Yeah.
like one-on-one.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Boxing.
But I like
UFC.
that too. I can appreciate
Yeah,
them
well,
all.
If you
I
come
don't
to
know.
a,
It's a different
if
thing.
you're playing a game and everybody, you're there 100% and everybody else is there like, oh, had a hangover last night. I'm
Yeah.
not playing
It is
my
annoying.
full game. You're like,
Yeah.
I get
What the
annoyed
hell?
even in men's league hockey sometimes. When who cares? It's
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
I'm a little bit like that
But-
in my personality too, though. I like to spend a lot of time alone.
Yeah, you're a loner. I'm the opposite. I like people. I like to be around lots of people. The more people, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the best times I've had have been on vacation, like weddings,
No,
like
yeah.
Cuba,
No,
and
you
things
don't.
like
You don't want to
that.
spend too much time. with
Being
yourself.
around people, I have.
But I like to work by myself. There's nobody pissing me off. Sometimes
I
you need a
like
hand. You always need a hand sometimes. But for the most part, if I can do shit by myself, I just go out there and I put some tunes on and I get a 6-pack and I like make a fence.
Yeah, see, I don't like to work. See,
That's
I'll
what I
work,
liked about
but
diving.
I like working with
But yeah,
people and
exactly.
just
It's
like
quiet.
have a conversation.
Nobody's talking
Me and
to
this
you.
guy had
Nobody's
some-
looking over
Yes.
top of you.
Yes.
You're just
Even-
there doing your own thing. Feed the fish if you want.
Yeah.
Coco's a social butterfly. and
100%.
Yeah, he likes to talk.
Yeah.
Even at work, I like to work with
He
other
likes to
people.
get-
I can work by myself, but I like to work with other people. You talk.
Social butterfly.
Working sucks fucking balls. The only thing that makes it enjoyable is if I got music playing in my ear or a podcast that I'm listening to, or I'm working with other people and I can have a good conversation while I'm working.
Yeah. Usually, once I start talking, I don't get anything done.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck
You know
about
what?
getting shit
I
done.
liked
Truthfully.
I liked working with people when I was employed by someone. Now that I'm just employed for myself, I don't really
Self-employed.
like it. Yeah, I like I can get a lot of shit done.
No, I totally.
And what do you
agree.
do? Build fences?
No, that's what I do in my spare time. I'm a plumber and a gas fitter. But I don't know. I just like get my head down. I get going. You always need help sometimes, and it is like once in a while it is nice to have another guy there. But you do waste like a lot of time
I
just standing
totally
there
agree.
like bullshitting.
It's way more
can
efficient.
get
making
it done.
jokes and trying
To
to
work
like
by
set
yourself.
up stupid pranks.
I think it's way
Screwing
more
the guy's
efficient.
toolbox down to the floor or something.
It's way more efficient to work by yourself, but it's also you get happier workers when they're working with other people.
I don't care if my workers
In
happy.
most sites I've been on.
Care
So
if you get
what-
shit
I'm
done.
paying you to be
Yeah.
here.
You're not here to
I'm
be happy,
paying
guy.
you to be happy.
I'm curious why you don't dive as part of your profession and you work for Southwest. Like, how come you didn't pursue that more as your?
When I was commercial diving, I was away all the time. I'd go away for a month and I'd
Yeah.
come back for 4 days. So you didn't have much of a life. You missed everything here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
And it's
thought,
not
you know,
something
I-
you could really do around here. Not many
oh
opportunities.
yeah,
for
I could
jobs
dive
here.
in the harbor and stuff on the ships, and
Would you weld?
yeah, I don't have my welding ticket,
Yeah.
but
That's what most of the guys do that dive on ships, though. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Money.
They, like,
And you can
weld
dive up-
cracks in the hull and
you
shit.
can dive up in the farms and stuff. But
The fish
still,
farms?
you're
What do you
still
do there?
away, right?
Yeah.
Sewing up nets and
Oh.
pulling out dead fish and stuff. But that's shitty.
I was
shitty
gonna
work.
say that
That's the
doesn't sound
shittiest.
fun. How much do they pay a guy for that? For diving into fish?
Oh,
farms?
he'd be making $200 a day, something like that.
not even
Fishing
that
fishing
much.
green urchins, I was
Yeah.
making $1,000 a day.
That's
$1,000?
worth it.
How much is a sea urchin worth? Like one sea
3
urchin.
for $10.
3 for $10.
And you're bringing in, you had a rake on, and you're just raking them in.
Really?
And
This
there'd be
sounds
a
brutal.
bed, there'd be a bed of them under the water, and it would just cover the whole ocean. And from what you could see, you might see 30 feet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You'd swim over, and you'd crack open the urchin, and you'd check for quality, and make sure it's nice and
Really?
full and plump and colorful, nice
are you
and
looking for?
orange. The eggs, there's 5 rows of eggs that go around the shell, and it looks like an orange wedge.
And the eggs is what you actually want?
Yeah, the eggs is what you eat. That's
Oh,
all there
and
is.
so
You
what-
crack it open, it's a shell with eggs in it.
Oh.
And
I
a
had
mouth.
no idea. I thought it
And
was
that's
like
it.
a little being.
No,
Like-
it just has a little beak on it, and then there's like a little cone head on the inside. That's the whole body.
Right.
This little cone head that's not even the size of your fingertip.
Yeah.
And then there's just 5 rows of eggs that look like a single orange wedge.
Huh.
And you check for quality, and make sure it's nice and firm in there. And
Can you
if
just eat those right there?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
how
You just crack them open and eat them.
Really?
Do they
Yeah.
taste good?
No,
I've never had
tastes
them
like
before.
cardboard.
So why do
Like
they
cardboard.
like them so much?
They
Why
probably
do they
have
want
some
them over there
Japanese
so much?
scam where it's like boner pills.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So what do you do with the ones you crack open and they're not ready?
you just throw them back down on the ground.
Do they?
Someone will eat it. Fish will come over.
Oh,
and you
he's
get
dead
the,
though.
Oh yeah, you
Ah.
get the Tommy cod, and they'll
And you
swim
check
around.
each one?
No, you just check like maybe a room this big,
Yeah.
and you might check maybe 3 in this room, and if it's good, okay. When the feed line came through there, and you know that all these are going to be nice and good, so you pick all the good ones that are the right size,
Yeah.
and throw them in your bag, and then you swim over to the next place. And you do that, and if they open up and they're really empty or whitish or not perfect, then you just swim to somewhere else because the feed will come in there, and then those ones will be plump. You come back there tomorrow.
What's the biggest thing you see down there?
Whales.
Whales? You seen some whales?
Yeah.
Orcas?
Yes.
Really? Killer whales?
Yeah.
Aren't you
and-
afraid? You think you were a seal?
Yeah, you get out of the water because you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
transients and residents. I've seen a minke whale,
A minke whale.
mink whale under the water.
That'd be freaky if you just
You
looked
get
over your
attacked by
shoulder and there was a
octopus?
whale there.
Pardon?
He's just like watching you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
we never actually
submarine.
told that. You never actually told that story.
The octopus story?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
What happened?
I was under the water. First octopus was a 50-pound octopus, and I went down, and I had actually the guy that was sort of.
And you were trying to catch
Yes.
the octopus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go down, and you got a oil quart container with a little soap cap on it, and you fill it full of hydrogen peroxide at 30%. Household peroxide is like 3%. Right?
Yeah.
And 30% will just turn your hands white, and the skin will just peel off.
Oh.
But it turns to oxygen when it touches water,
Yeah.
so it doesn't hurt the reef any. Opposed to in the old days they used bleach, and it would just kill the reef, right?
Yeah.
So you swim down and you find the den, and there'll be shells and rocks outside the den, and you sort of hide, and you squirt this hydrogen peroxide in there, and it irritates their skin, and then they'll want to come out, right? So you'll hover over top of the rock. The rock might be as big as this table, might be as big as this room,
Yeah.
and it'll have different holes in and out from the rock. So you got to watch him all, make sure he doesn't scoot out behind you or something.
Yeah.
And then he'll come out, and you might have to squirt him again to get his other legs out, and you flip him over. Well, this one in particular didn't want to come out, and I was green at the whole thing. It was my first octopus, and I didn't know that, you know, they're going to see you and they're going to attack you, right?
They have like human eyes, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty close.
Well, yeah, they
Yeah.
got us. And so it had wrapped a tentacle around my head, and it was pulling me head first into this den. And I had my feet up on the rock, and I'm trying to pull myself back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And
Did
they're-
you rip your mask off?
yeah, I've had them rip my mask off. I've had them pull my dive knife out and wave your knife
Really?
around. Yeah.
That would be scary.
I would consider them as smart as cats.
Really?
Smart as cats.
Yeah,
I've never
they
seen
know-
a cat whip a knife out on me.
No, but they sort of know what's going on, and
Yeah.
they know that you're not good and predator, so they'll attack you. And they got a poison beak on them, like a spider bite.
Yeah. And they bit you?
No, I haven't had one bite me yet.
What happens then?
You just get really infected, like a
Oh,
spider
yeah.
bite. Right?
So-
It's like big.
Yeah.
So once it comes out and you're waiting there, you sprayed it with the peroxide. And you just try to grab it.
Yeah,
You just
so
tackle
once
it?
you're sitting, you're floating there, and you're holding a big deep breath of air. You've dumped all your air out of your dry suit. You're floating on only your breath, your lung air, and you're floating there and waiting for it to come out. And it'll come out, and it'll be looking around, and then you dump your breath out, and you drop down and you grab it and you flip it upside down real quick, so all
Right.
its suckers are up, so it doesn't grab onto any rocks, right?
Yeah.
And then you just beat it into this little goodie bag.
Really? You have a sack?
Beat it.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Santa.
a little, yeah, just like Santa, and it's got a little cage on the top, and it snaps shut, and then it can't get out.
You just get one at a time.
No, you fill the bag up.
Really?
How big are
is
they?
that?
Well, you don't want to take anything smaller than 15 pounds, and they'll get up to like 120 pounds.
Are these going to the Japanese for snacks too?
Yeah,
Hmm.
most everything.
How big is 100?
Like, yeah, like how,
100
like the
120
main body How
120
big?
pounds is a 9-foot tentacle that way and a 9-foot tentacle that way, and
18 feet across?
a 3-foot body inside.
Holy
Wow.
fuck.
And that's just
How
a
many guys
white
to wrestle
body
that?
with a giant beak right in the middle.
Yeah, you should be taking these on 2 at a time.
And what
Or
was
there's like 2 divers at a time for 1 octopi.
how big's a 15-pounder? Like how big is a tentacle?
15-pounder would be probably the size of this table sprawled out.
Oh, okay.
But these guys don't weigh that much for their like
Size.
Circumference.
Yeah, that's right. Like a spider, just all legs and
Yeah.
muscle legs, like you wouldn't believe. Just yeah,
What about spearfishing? Have you done that
yeah, yeah.
in North Island?
Yeah. I would just use my knife a lot. You know,
put it on the end of a stick.
No, just use it. Just swim up. So octopus fishing again. I had a bag. I had 3 octopus in my bag, and I was coming up. I only had a couple 100 pounds of air left. I was coming up this wall, and on the top of the wall there was a little bluff, and there was this huge lingcod, and I thought, holy shit, this looks like dinner to me, you know, I gotta take this with me. So I swim over, and I was dangling the octopus bag in front of his face, and he's looking at this octopus bag, and then I just jabbed the knife into his head,
Really?
and it went berserk. And
No shit.
exactly. I didn't know what to do, so I just shoved my hand in its mouth just to lock it in, because I didn't want it to just swim away. It'll swim a mile away and then die, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't want
And
to
take your
lose
knife.
it. Yeah. No, that I'll never lose. Never let go of that. So I just shoved my hand in its mouth and then just twisted it until it died. But I was coming up, and I came up to the plateau, and there was another octopus out in the open. So I just had that one just wrap around me, actually, and just tangle up around me until, and then I just went up, and I just took it all up at once. I just peeled the octopus off.
So where else in the world have you been diving?
Jamaica, Cuba, Australia.
Didn't you like live in a van in Australia or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I did a wicked camper van for 6 months
Oh, you
in
did a wicked
Australia.
van,
Yeah.
I bought a car.
What a piece of shit that was. That was awful.
Is it
I went
almost like-
through. I went through 2 transmissions, 3 clutches,
6 months?
4 starters.
Must have been a
Wow.
shit.
It was brutal. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
brutal.
Is it something you bought or rented?
No, you had to buy it
You had to
because
buy it?
I
They
kept
rented
it.
them.
Well, they did, but you know, I was there for 6 months, and we were. So the time to rent that, you might as well buy it. So I
Right.
bought it for $8,000, and I sold it back to them for 6.
Yeah.
To the same fucking company. Here's your stupid piece of shit back that blew all the parts
So
out
how
of
much?
it.
How much money did you put into it?
A little bit as well, probably. I don't know.
Probably like $3,000 if you went through 2 transmissions.
Well, you know, they cover the trannies, and
Did
they covered maybe 1 of the starters out of 3 or something. It was brutal.
What kind of van was this?
It was like a Mazda
A
B2000.
Mazda.
Put
Fuck, those things are usually
put
pretty
a
good.
queen size bed in there. Couldn't
Yeah.
shove a credit card in the sides. And then
Yeah.
that was it. We went camping, and we went 25,000 kilometers, and spent $25,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty awesome trip. I would
Yeah.
I would suggest Australia to anybody. Anybody.
Yeah?
It's so amazing.
Did you do
the-
West
Well,
Coast?
you're a diver though. That's gonna be like
Yeah.
some of the most amazing spots.
Isn't that
I
like
didn't
number 1
do the
reef
West
in the
Coast.
world?
Yeah.
The Great Barrier?
Australia,
The Great Barrier,
Barrier's the
yeah.
number 1.
But you know what? It's so it's been hit so hard with tourism and people swimming all over it.
the reef house?
Yeah, and there's other species brought in, like starfish, that are eating the coral and everything.
Which I heard that, yeah.
It's suffering a lot.
Hmm.
It's quite dead.
They have another amazing reef. What's the one in the Caribbean there?
The Cosmo?
No, that's the island. There's a massive reef there. It's not as big as the Great Barrier Reef, but it's supposed to have a lot more species in it. I snorkeled on it, and I can't remember what the hell it's called now. What's that guy's the famous diver there? Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to dive there all the time. He was kind of like the grandfather of.
Have you ever
Scuba diving,
dove
wasn't
the
it?
Sunshine Coast?
No, I've never dove at all.
Oh.
I've
Just
snorkeled.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. That'd be fun though.
Yeah, I've got my open water.
Yeah?
Do you?
Have you
I've
ever
done-
dove up the Sunshine Coast?
No, but apparently around here is the best diving in the world.
That's right. Because we're cold water and we have the most amount of
Marine
feed.
life and
Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's better than the Caribbean?
Way better.
But you just don't get like the bright colored fish and stuff then.
People just don't come here because it's cold water. They don't want to drive in a dye suit.
But
They
you-
just want to
I think
drive
it's
in
just
their
called the
t-shirts.
Caribbean Reef.
Could be, yeah. But you don't get like the bright colored fish.
Oh yeah,
You do?
It's just beautiful.
Like
down
bright
there.
orange and red fish?
Yeah,
Really?
smaller
I didn't know
stuff.
we get those.
Smaller will be brighter, but we have dark water, so a lot of our fish will be darker.
Yeah.
The majority of them,
I
but
heard
you
they-
still get little, and when you're in like the 15-foot mark,
Mm-hmm.
that's
the best?
That's the feed line, and it's just like so full of life. It's unbelievable. Every little piece of kelp you lift up, there's something underneath it crawling around. And
That's so small.
You
I want to
just-
see like giant orange fish.
So you're both named Clayton. You both have your diving ticket.
yeah,
What else do you?
We're both wearing gray
Both
shirts.
wearing
yeah,
gray
both
shirts
dressed
and
the
jeans.
exact same.
Any other questions?
No.
No.
I think
We both traveled around Australia.
you both traveled.
Yeah.
How long were you in Australia for?
8 months.
You did 8
Wow,
months there?
nice.
Yeah.
When was that?
2007.
So you've done Australia. You just did Nicaragua, right?
Yeah.
How was that? That's
Nicaragua was cool. Very cool.
yeah. What was the what would the highlight be?
I would say the Caribbean side. There's a little island called Little Corn and Big Corn, and you have to fly. Well, you can take a boat, but we flew from the mainland. It's just a small island, and it's actually wasn't part of Nicaragua, of colonial Nicaragua.
Right.
So it was part of the British Empire. So they speak English and Creole, and they're black
Yep.
rather than Spanish.
Speak Creole. That's like a dialect of like English, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a perversion of English. I don't know, it's kind of like a.
It's like faster and more.
It's like Jamaican-esque. It's like
Yeah,
Jamaican
yeah,
speak
yeah,
Creole,
yeah.
right? But it's a beautiful island, Little Corn. There's no motorized vehicles, and it's probably about a mile and a half long by a mile wide,
Mhm.
and it's just kind of like a tourist island. But it's
Just bicycles.
just walking,
Yeah.
bicycles, and there's diving there. I went night diving for the first
Yeah,
time,
that's awesome.
which scared the shit out of me at first.
Really?
Well, just the thought of it, going out in a boat into the
How
ocean
deep do you
in the
go?
middle of the night. Sorry.
How deep did you go?
Not deep. We just did. I only got my level. How do they classify it again? I
Your
only
open
got-
water.
I just got my open water, which is up to 15 to 10 meters. Or something.
Yeah. Well, you can get your advanced to be 100 feet, but
Oh, yeah.
whatever you got.
You don't even go that deep because, like you're saying, like 15 feet, below 15 feet, there's not a lot of marine life
Mm-hmm.
that typically as tourists
Yeah.
want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did have hammerhead diving there, but we couldn't go to that side of the island because I was on the exposed side
That's
and the weather
intense.
was too bad.
Wait, diving with sharks?
Hammerheads are pretty dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, that I was gonna say.
They have great whites here. People
I
don't
was gonna
think
say,
they have great
I
whites
heard
here,
sharks moved
and
in
they
here.
do have great whites here.
You see
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In right in the.
Well, I just heard
Just
on
off
the
the
news
coast?
they had one in Gambier Island.
Oh, really? A
Yeah.
great white? They're
Yeah.
fucking
They were
huge.
talking about it on the BC Ferries. I saw that on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's some guy
First
doing
time
I can't remember what channel it's on. He's doing a show about how they think there's sharks now in the Great Lakes. That they've migrated.
I've seen
into
that
the
too.
Great Lakes.
Yeah.
But are the Great Lake, are they saltwater? I guess they are.
Well, they feed into the salt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but they would be
Oh.
freshwater.
Are
It
they?
would be
So
like
sharks
a.
can-
It would
they
be
don't
like
have
a
to be in
bull.
salt
It
water?
would have to be a bull shark.
They can be in fresh or saltwater?
Yeah.
No way.
Hmm.
Anybody dived any wrecks?
Yes.
Yeah?
I dove the Yongala.
Where's that?
That's in Australia. There was 3 bull sharks on that. There was a giant Australian grouper they called the V-dub, and it was the size of a VW car, and literally I could swim into its mouth.
You don't want to do that.
Wow.
It was huge.
Big mistake.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I could have swam in there and just sat right in there like a lawn chair. It was so big. It would just sit there with his mouth open and all the little fish in there eating, cleaning up its mouth.
Like whale shark.
Yeah. It was.
Swim with whale sharks?
No, not yet.
I did that in Australia.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. They take you out in a boat into like the middle of the ocean. I'm talking the middle of the ocean, and they have a plane that flies around, spots them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the boat like rushes to it as fast as you can because they come up and they can be up for hours or minutes, and then they just dive and you never see them again.
Right.
So we paid like $300 to swim with this thing. So,
Yeah.
You better
wanna
get
see
there
one.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bomb out like as soon as they get the radio call. You're sitting there like all day waiting, and then bombs out to it as fast as he can. He's okay, get in the water, get in the water, get in the water. You jump in and you don't know if there's a shark around you. Like I saw a snake out there, which freaked the shit out of me.
Where? How far out was this?
I'm talking like nautical miles. I don't know, but we're talking like a good. You go off the coast into the middle of the Indian Ocean for like an hour and about.
And there's a snake.
Holy
a
shit!
snake.
An hour's a long time.
Yeah. What the fuck was he doing out
And
there?
I don't know if they were going
Just
out
a
or
sea
zigging
snake.
around or
Just
Just
live
a
out
sea
there.
snake.
yeah.
They live
Straight
out there.
Just a sea snake.
It's like probably
There's snakes under the water,
4
under the
meters long.
ocean, like
4
fish.
meters long, bright yellow in the middle of the ocean swimming. And that's
I haven't
the
heard about
scariest
these
thing.
before.
I would
Scariest thing I've ever
definitely
seen.
be scared of that.
You've
That
seen
would-
them before?
Well, yeah, they're sea snakes.
Sounds like a Sasquatch type of thing.
No, no.
Oh, no, it's a sea snake. It's just a wave. No, they're real?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
4 meters long?
Yeah, I'd say it was, 3 to 4 meters, sure.
Did he have gills?
I didn't get that close to him, okay? I was in the boat and I saw the thing. I was, what the
Maybe
hell
it was
that?
an eel. I could see that.
It was no eel. It was bright yellow.
It
You
was
see
a
his
sea
tongue?
snake, man.
Buddy, this sounds like a joke for sure.
No, no.
No, you don't. You
I don't believe
snakes.
it's a sea snake.
Lots of snakes go in the water.
Yeah,
You
I've
know?
seen like water moccasins, like in rivers and lakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never heard of a sea snake.
Oh yeah.
Google
Wait,
it.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
lots of sea snakes.
Well, I think we could keep this conversation going all night, boys, but we gotta wrap it up here. We're running out of time.
Okay.
Thanks, both of you, for coming out.
Thank you for
Good
inviting us.
conversation. Learned a lot in this one. If anybody wants to get a hold of you on Twitter, what's
No.
your- no, you're not.
No.
You're not throwing that out there, hey? All right. Well, anyway, I'm at Rock0.
That's what they stand for.
And at RT Adam and Koko. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and we will see you next week.
There.
Give us back our bullets!